So hello everyone, welcome back down to the bar. We are doing another Fresh Crack Friday for you folks tonight. Now this is one that wasn't going to buy because I haven't heard great things about it, but I was able to find one below MSRP and still on the shelf. And I've seen some of these jacked up pretty crazy. This is one of the Willet pot stills. This is the smaller one. They do make a jumbo handle one. Yeah, I got this for like 45 bucks. I think MSRP is like 55 or 60. That's what I've been seeing it for, and I've seen even some of these going 75, 80 bucks for the 750s. So this is the one that's usually sitting back here in the center of the bar and or bar display anyway. So I figured I'd crack it tonight and we'll see what we get. So got the old trusty age and ore glass right there. Don't need the sample glass because we're going to fresh crack. Alrighty. Aged in ore glass. I like it because it's got a lot of nice weight to it. So Willet pot still, as you can see, kind of paying homage to that old pot still style of distilling. And Willet bourbon whiskey, straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This comes in at 94 proof for the pot still, which is in the Willet Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. Batch number 22C26, if anybody's wondering. Yeah, government warnings. Do not operate machinery, all that good stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I've never had Willet before, so we'll see how this stacks up, and we'll see if it can unseat the original fresh crack of the Tin Cup 10-year, which I have a couple things to say about that when we get down to it. But I'm gonna, here we go. Quiet on the set for the cork pop. That's a cool sound. Synthetic cork. Ooh, it smells nice. It smells really nice. So, been wanting to crack for a while. A couple people have asked about it, and that's usually what happens is people come over and ask if they can have it. If it's not cracked, usually I'll put it on a fresh crack. That way we can drink it next time they're over. So, let me see. Jigger. Sorry, just got done doing some bar dishes today. So, well, that is a weird pour. That's different. Got a nice ounce in. We'll see if that gets the cool little gurgling sound. Got it down there below the still neck and into the bottom of the pot. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, haven't heard great stuff about the Willet pot still, so we'll see how it stacks up. That is the fresh crack for tonight. So let's give her a no. Let's see what we think. Fruity, sweet, almost like fresh cut flowers is what I'm getting with this one. Really weird. I've never really gotten a floral note before, so this is all kind of new to me. With this kind of a smell profile anyway. Yeah, like fresh cut, almost like field kind of a flowers. Clover, if anybody's ever smelled clover buds. Yeah, that's what it smells like to me. It smells like clover. Blooming clover right there. You almost hear the bees buzzing in the clover. Just to tie back to the food plots and stuff. So, smells really sweet. We'll see. I don't think there's an age statement on the pot still, so we'll see. It's a bourbon, so it's definitely done in new oak with no artificial flavorings or anything like that. So we'll see what we get. Burnt marshmallow is the first thing that comes to. Yeah, kind of a burnt marshmallow kind of taste. Sweet, really sweet. But yeah, kind of a burnt marshmallow flavor. I don't know if that's a char I'm tasting that tastes like that, burnt marshmallow, but it's definitely really sweet. Doesn't drink like a 94. There's not any ethanol, alcohol burn, nothing like that with it. It's a really easygoing one. This is one that might be one to bring out if you got a new person, sipping whiskey for the first time with you. So try another taste. Yeah, it's not getting a whole lot on the nose. Like I said, it's very, very faint, but very sweet. There's a sweet kind of note underlying with it. Yeah, sweet, but very faint sweet kind of smell with it. Burnt marshmallow, yeah. Burnt marshmallow, maybe a little bit of kind of a corn, maybe a younger kind of a whiskey taste. One that's not that much age under it. Definitely sweeter because of that. But a little bit of burnt marshmallow up front. It's not bad. It's not unpleasant. There's a good mouth coat feel there, then gone. Nice feel down into the throat and chest. Not too bad, but again, I'm spitting it out at 94 proof. Not a bad whiskey, all in all. I think this one's pretty decent, but I want to see how it'll stack up against the Tin Cup 10 year. So let's see what we got. The undefeated in the fresh crack, the Tin Cup 10, which I kind of crapped on this when I first had it. And I've had a couple pours out of it, obviously, for the fresh crack, and then the fight with the Blantons in last week's episode. But for a $50 bottle of 10-year-old bourbon whiskey with no, artificial additives or anything like that, flavors, dark colors, anything like that, it's a pretty damn good bourbon for like in that 80-ish proof point. A lot of flavor for something that's spitting out at 84 that, I didn't really give it a whole lot of credit for. So we'll see. I think this one's actually a pretty good sleeper that could hang on for a while in these fresh cracks. So I still get some taste with that Willet, and it's not unpleasant. It's very, very sweet and very, very unique. I can't say I can match that to anything else. It's the first time I got like the fresh floral, like clover pollen kind of smell, and then the burnt marshmallow, which I've heard people talk about. That's the first time I've ever picked it up with a whiskey. So that was new for me. And all in all, pretty good. Good feel down into the chest. Not a bad bottle. Price was pretty decent for a decent bottle of whiskey, and that's what kind of I would expect out of a $50 bottle. It's something of good quality. So let's try a little pour of the 10. Don't want to get too crazy. Still got some stuff I want to do today. So good old Tin Cup 10. I do like the Tin Cup tops. They fit the bottle design really nice. It's just a beautiful bottle to have on the shelf over here with the West of the Rockies shelf. So, and I did wipe my jigger out between pours, if you were wondering. So, grape. Every time I pick that up, I get that almost medicinal grape note with it. And again, it's kind of growing on me, for a flavor. But we'll see if the Tin Cup can beat the Willet. They're right about the same price point, $45 to $55. But you get 10-year-old juice here. The Willet's not age stated. I could probably look it up and let you know. Just double checking to see if it's got a age statement on it, and it's not. Just says, please enjoy in moderation in the same way that it was made, slow and unhurried. So, aged in new white oak cask until fully mature. So no age statement on it, but it definitely does taste younger. I did get some corn sweetness out of it, and just kind of a little bit of younger feel. And in the glass, you can see it's lighter. It's definitely lighter than the 10-year, but 10-year-old's going to definitely pull more out of it. It is proof down, but like I said, it still holds a lot of flavors. I wish, like I said in the first video, I wish the 10-year was maybe not a cask strength, but somewhere a little bit higher proof point wise. I think to really get some more flavors, I think this could be a really, really exceptional bottle. and one that I probably would pay another $5 or $10 for if it was proofed up a little bit. You know, if it was more like that $65 bottle instead of that $55 bottle, um, I'd pay for, another 10, 15 proof points, get it up around 98, 100, something like that. I think it would drink a much better bottle of whiskey, personally. So, try the Willet, see if anything's changed. It sat in the glass a little bit. Sweet. I mean, just a sweet smelling. This smells, like I said, like fresh flowers, fresh pollen field. I'm getting clover. Is like the specific flower that I smell, like my clover food plots when they're all in bloom. There's bees everywhere. It's beautiful. That's what I'm smelling. Really, really unique kind of floral smell with this one. One that I've never picked up in a bottle before. So maybe that's something with Willet that I don't know. Like I said, this is the first time I think trying anything from the Willet family of whiskeys, at least anything that I've had in the last year or so. So let's try it again. So I swirled that around in my mouth a little bit longer this time. I'm trying to see if I could pick up something else, floating it around my tongue both sides. I swirling it around. Do get some nice tongue tingle with that one, doing that little swirl with it, letting basically, and I'm sure that's just the alcohol, moving around, evaporating off that I'm getting the tingle from. But definitely got that burnt marshmallow. And then with it swirling around now, as it's the ethanol, a little bit burn is going away, the little tingle I had. Wasn't unpleasant, and it was very mild and doable, but almost like a s'mores kind of graham cracker finish on it. I like it a lot. I mean, honestly, I think it's a really nice pour for somebody that might be first getting into this, or somebody that likes more of a sweeter bourbon. I think the Willet Pot Still is a pretty solid one. It's a definite 7+. I'd probably almost put it closer to an 8 compared to the ones that we've had on the fresh crack. So we'll see how it stacks up here against the tin cup. So it's grape. that's all I smell with this. And I don't know if it's my brain because that's what I smelled in the beginning with it, but man, it's a nice grape and it's kind of growing on me. And like I said, this knocked the socks off of Blanton's last week. There were some things I like more about the Blantons than this one, but this is your moving on for the Friday battle of the fresh cracks. So tin cup still on top, but we'll see if it hangs on against the Willet. See, I'm getting a little bit of almost like dark chocolate sweetness. And I think the stone fruit that I picked up the first time I had this. But this one tonight, flavor-wise, like this is a flavor explosion on the Willet. That burnt marshmallow, graham cracker, s'more kind of taste. This had no cut, no burn, no nothing. I mean, this is a really nice pour, super simple. I think this is going to be a tough one to beat for a beginner drinker. I think that's why this one would have a nice place. Nice 10-year-old, cool story, west of the Rockies. MGP sourced, which is one of the largest distilling companies in the country. So you got that going for it. It's kind of cool. And a lot of people can buy this juice. So you have that. But then they cut it with Rocky Mountain water and, do all their good stuff that they do with it over at the Tin Cup Distillery. So, and it doesn't drink like a high rye. I don't get that high rye spice out of this bourbon that they claim to have in their mash bill that they get from MGP. I don't get the spice with it, but I think it's a really nice bottle of bourbon, and one that, like I said, I probably won't buy it again because it's not blowing me away. It's not something that's really standing out. But again, it did knock off a Blanton's. Maybe Blanton's just isn't my flavor. This is sweeter than this, but it's not artificial sweet that I'm tasting, if that makes sense. The Blanton's just tasted very artificial, very honey forward like maybe a bird dog honey or something like that. It was almost too much kind of honey sweetness, which maybe a lot of people like in the Blantons because that's the honey barrels and all that stuff. But we'll see how the tin cup. I mean, there's no like that is the epitome of an easy drinking, smooth bourbon, stone dark fruit, and on the end of that one, it finished off with a little bit of that medicinal grape, which is just not the right fit off of that stone fruit right now. To be honest, I think it's going to the Willet. I think the Willet's going to move on and knock the tin cup off of its streak. It's just coming off way too basic tonight for me. This is a nice bottle. This is one that I will probably pull out for conversation piece. Somebody that's down here drinking that may not be into bourbon that much. This is a really good one to get somebody's feet wet. No alcohol burn. You could have a nice, couple sips off of this and be feeling just fine. 84 proof, so it's not too hot. But yeah, just it does not. It's a sweet floral, and even now that it's opened up a little bit, I do almost get some of that marshmallow kind of smell with the Willet now. That's crazy. And there's that burnt marshmallow. I'm giving definitely complexity of flavor over this. I think it's because it's probably a little bit proofed a little bit higher. You're picking up a little bit more notes with it. It's not as basic as this one because the proof point brings out more of those flavors. I'm going with the Willet tonight. It's a sweet drink, but it's not overly sweet. And I say marshmallow, and people might say, well, that's got a lot of sugar. That's not what I'm saying with like a sugary sweetness. It's just kind of a smooth sweetness that reminds me of a s'more, but not like a overly like sugar heavy s'more. So, but just a really nice pour. It really is. And I'm glad that I opened this so now I can share it with some people. And it's a cool pot still, kind of the story about distilling that some people use, those big pot still styles. It's a cool piece, and it looks really cool on the bar, and it'll be a cool little decanter for when I empty it. Who knows what I'll put back in it. Maybe we'll blend with this one going forward, but it's definitely a cool bottle. And we're going to give the tip to the Willet tonight on this. So hope you guys enjoyed this Fresh Crack Friday. The Willet's moving on. The tin cup is off the board. So, and that's what we'll have this week. Moving on is the Willet pot still. I'm going to give it at least a 7.5, maybe an 8. It's a pretty nice drinker, and it's really nice out of the top of the neck. I mean, it's got a nice long neck, but it's pretty nice out of the top of the neck, whereas you usually don't get that much of a mellowness out of the top of the neck. Now, we'll see if it sweetens up a little bit. Some other stuff comes out now that it's been opened and cracked. But I would recommend this one. I would, if you can pick it up for $45. I think that's what I paid for this one, was $45.99, which is the cheapest I ever saw it this year. But if you could pick it up for $45 or even $50, I think this is a really nice one. It's a really cool bottle design. It's going to pull some people's attention. It's not going to break your heart if people come over and drink it either, being at that price point. And it's cool. Really cool bottle design. I mean, all in all. So hats off to the Willet on this one, folks. That's what we're giving the Fresh Crack Friday on. And it's our winter moving on. So hope you guys tune back in to the Whitetails and Whiskey podcast. We do a live Q&A, hunting kind of themed and whiskey themed live podcast every Wednesday on the channel here. And then we do our Fresh Crack Friday reviews and our Management Mondays. So hope you guys really enjoy those. If there's something you want to see featured on a Fresh Crack, maybe something that'll off-seat the Willet, we got a bunch of bottles here to open up this year, and I want to really keep this series going, keep the Management Mondays going, and really keep bringing good content to you folks. So if you do have any questions or any thoughts on the Willet, the Tin Cup, the Blantons. I know a couple people told me that I'm crazy for, giving the Tin Cup 10 over the Blantons, but I think for a sub 90 proof in the low 80s, it drinks really nice. I would just say that the Willet's going to drink better. It's going to be a more introductory bourbon for sure, but it's also because it's got a lot of good complex flavors going on with it. You get to maybe pick up that marshmallow that I've never had before in a whiskey. So that's my honest take on this fresh crack of the Willet pot still. Thank you all for tuning in. If you did like the video, feel free to give us a thumbs up, drop your comments below, and tell us if you didn't like it, especially because we want to know why you're not liking these videos. Really appreciate it. If you want to, subscribe to the channel so you get updates on all of them. And if you want the live updates when we go live, when we put out new content, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified and can keep up to date with the videos we put out. So, again, thank you all so much for tuning in to the White Tails and Whiskey Podcast. I'm Ben Williams, and I'll catch you all next time down here at the bar. Take care, everyone.